What is up, ladies and gents? Game week 3 is here. Liverpool versus Arsenal, two title hopefuls trying to punch each other's dreams early. And of course Chelsea versus Fulham, the West London derby where Chelsea look to keep their hot streak alive, whereas Fulham just try not to be the noisy neighbor who gets evicted. But before we do that, let's just go over quickly our Game Week 2 tips and predictions and see how good or bad we did. Then we're gonna jump into Game Week 3 tips and predictions. Let's go. So as you can see, we hit 6 out of 10 tips with the odds of 1.75 and above. And plus one correct winner where we missed the tip with the odds of 1.82. So we're gonna start from the first one. West Ham were hosting Chelsea. Our tip was Chelsea double chance combined with both teams to score with the odds of 2.05. We hit that tip. The actual result was 1-5 for Chelsea. As I mentioned, West Ham fans had to close their eyes when this game starts, and that's exactly what happened. 5-1 win for Chelsea, and we also predicted the correct winner, Chelsea to win, 1.75. Two juicy odds right there. The following match, Arsenal were hosting Leeds. Our tip was Arsenal Asian handicap minus 1.5, meaning Arsenal to win by 2 or more goal differences with the odds of 1.85, and the actual result was 5-0. So we hit another juicy tip, obviously correct winner as well. And the following match, Crystal Palace were hosting Nottingham Forest. Our tip was both teams to score with the odds of 1.80, and the actual result was 1-1. And we also predicted the correct score, 1-1. And also a draw result for that game was 3.30. So we predicted the draw result as well for 3.30. And the following match, Everton were hosting Brighton. Our tip was Everton double chance combined was over 0.5 goals, meaning 1 or more goals in the game with the odds of 1.75. And the actual result was 2-0 for Everton. So we hit that tip as well. And the following match, Fulham were hosting Manchester United. Our tip was Manchester United double chance combined United to score under 2.5 goals, meaning 2 or less goals for United with the odds of 1.95. We hit that one too. And the following match, Newcastle were hosting Liverpool. That game just ended. Our tip for that game was Liverpool double chance combined with both teams to score with the odds of 1.95, and the actual result was 2-3. So we hit our tip for that game too, and we also predicted the correct winner for that game, that Liverpool are gonna win. The odds for that was 2.25. We are on a roll there. And the following match, Bournemouth were hosting Wolves. Our tip was Bournemouth to score over 1.5 goals, but they weren't able to despite playing against 10 men in the second half. But we did predict the correct winner. We said Bournemouth are gonna win with the odds of 1.82. And the following match, Manchester City were hosting Spurs. Our tip was City to win combined was under 4.5 goals, but we totally missed this because Manchester City got smashed again, 2-0. Following match, Brentford were hosting Aston Villa. Our tip was both teams to score combined was under 5.5 goals. We hit the 5.5 goals part, but Aston Villa couldn't score against Brentford, so we missed that tip. And the last match was Burnley Sunderland. Our tip was both teams to score, but Burnley scored 2 and Sunderland couldn't score. So I hope you guys are loving these tips and predictions, especially we hit so many of them. It is unbelievable, guys. One for the community. Much love to you guys. And now without further ado, let's dive into week 3 and see how we're gonna do there. Let's go. First match of the week, Chelsea will be hosting Fulham. Just like we predicted, Chelsea went away to West Ham and absolutely cooked them 5-1. The Blues looked like prime Barcelona for once, and that Fulkrug goal really annoyed Chelsea, but luckily for the Blues, it got ruled out. And then Chelsea basically said, alright, fine. We'll just score 4 more to make sure there's no VAR drama today. On the other side, Fulham hosted United and walked away with a 1-1 draw. Respectable result, especially after being 1-0 down. And United fans probably thought they had it wrapped up, but Fulham were like, not today, Red Devils, not today. Now history between these two is fun. Back in February, Chelsea went to Craven Cottage and won 2-1, but the last time Fulham visited Stamford Bridge, guess what? Yep, they shocked the Chelsea with a 2-1 win. So which version do we get this time? Super Chelsea smashing teams, or Fulham pulling off another West London plot twist? Either way, this one has drama written all over it, but just looking at Chelsea's form right now, there's no way for me to think that Chelsea is not gonna win this game. My score prediction for this match is 2-0 for Chelsea, and my tip is Chelsea to win combined was over 1.5 goals, odds 1.83. On to the next one. Manchester United will be hosting Burnley. Burnley hosted Sunderland at home and defeated the guests 2-0, and a bit boring game, yeah it was, but the home team got their much needed 3 points, so props there. And when it comes to Manchester United, they visited Fulham. It was an interesting match. Bruno Fernandes steps up to the penalty spot and sends the ball straight into orbit. NASA confirmed it passed the International Space Station. The man had scored his last 5. He scored last 5 penalties, but when it mattered the most, boom, 2023 deja vu, missed again. Fulham fans couldn't believe it. United fans couldn't either. And somewhere in Lisbon, Cristiano probably facepalmed. But despite taking the lead first after that, United led Fulham to find the back of the net and the team settled for a point. The game ended 1-1 draw. But back to this game, the last time Burnley visited United at Old Trafford, that game ended 1-1 draw. And if you ask me about this upcoming match, I mean United should finally be able to get their first win of the season, right? Especially playing at home, because they're playing really well. It's just like, I don't know, like at some moments, in some episodes, like they're just unlucky, right? Like Bruno Fernandes missing a penalty after not missing a single one in his last 5, right? The last time he missed a penalty was back in 2023. Like it was just an unlucky day. So I'm backing United in this one to get their 3 points. My score prediction for this match is 2-0 for Manchester United. And my tip is Manchester United to score over 1.5 goals, meaning 2 or more goals by Manchester United, plus total goals under 4.5, meaning 4 or less goals in the game, odds 1.95. On to the next one. Sunderland will be hosting Brentford. Brentford looked like they were dusting off last season's script, we don't lose at home. If you guys remember, they were rocking that. Against Aston Villa over the weekends, they basically said, 1 goal is enough lads, now park the double-decker bus outside the box. And Villa turned into target practice machines. 76% possession with 17 shots versus Brentford's 9. It was like Brentford were saying, go ahead, shoot all you want. Our goalkeeper needs his weekly workout. That's how it looked like. And they actually were able to hold on to that scoreline. And when it comes to Sunderland, they gave me so much hope in the opening week, defeating West Ham 3-0, but unfortunately fell short against Burnley in the away match, 2-0. But the interesting fact between these two teams is that they faced each other back in 2018 in the Championship division. The first game ended 3-3 draw, but when Brentford visited Sunderland, that game ended 2-0 for the guests. And to be honest, I have difficulties to pick the winner between these two. So far, both have 1 win and 1 loss. But considering that Sunderland are playing at home, I'll probably pick the middle ground in this one. My score prediction for this game is 1-1 draw. And my tip is both teams to score, odds of 1.75. On to the next one. Spurs will be hosting Bournemouth. Tottenham, what a performance that was. Seriously, super impressive. I'm telling you guys, this post-Harry Kane Son era Spurs is like when you break up with somebody and suddenly hit the gym. Dangerous upgrade unlocked. And listen, I said it before, that Spurs have that some kind of cheat code when they visit Etihad Stadium. That's 3 results in a row. 3-3 draw, and then 4-0 win, and then 2-0 win over the weekends. I mean, at this point, Pep probably sees Tottenham on the fixture list and probably sighs, here we go again. Honestly, it's so satisfying to see Spurs in this form despite me not being a Spurs fan, right? I'm enjoying their game. Bournemouth from the other side were able to defeat Wolves at home 1-0, but I have no idea how they weren't able to score the second goal playing against 10 men for over 40 minutes in the second half. They just couldn't score another one. But the interesting fact is, the last time Bournemouth visited Spurs, they game ended 2-2 draw, but this post-Kane Suns Spurs look so much more dangerous. So my score prediction for this game is 3-1 for Tottenham, and my tip is Spurs to win 1.75 is really tempting. But if you want something a bit safer, then Spurs double chance combined with Spurs to score over 1.5 goals, meaning 2 or more goals by Spurs, adds 1.72. On to the next one. Wolves will be hosting Everton. Everton basically said, we're not losing our first game at the new Hill-Dixon Stadium, and they backed it up with a 2-0 win over Brighton over the weekend. Imagine moving into a new house and immediately throwing a party where you beat up the neighbors. That's Everton right now. And on the other side, Wolves went to Bournemouth, picked up a red card, and lost the game 1-0. Like, honestly, without Matheus Cunha, Wolves look like someone unplugged their PlayStation controller just moving around but not really doing anything. So what's the why for this game? Honestly, don't expect any fireworks. This could be one of those games where you turn on blink and suddenly it's halftime and nothing happened. A proper sleepy Sunday afternoon game. That's what I predict in this one. My score prediction for the game is 0-0 draw, and my tip is Wolves double chance combined with Wolves to score under 2.5 goals, meaning 2 or less goals by Wolves, adds 1.74. On to the next one. Leeds will be hosting Newcastle. Leeds simply got outclassed by Arsenal in their previous outings. The Gunners demolished them 5-0. And Newcastle, meanwhile, dealing with Isak's drama. Let's see how everything will end, but so far by Newcastle's recent statement, looks like they're not planning to release Isak, so let's see how everything goes. I even read this internet joke saying like, what if they sign a deal after the first half? Why won't Isak play the first half and then sign a deal and then change the shirts and then just play for Liverpool in the second half? That would be like one of a kind moment in football history, but of course it's all jokes. There's no way that's happening. And obviously this was recorded before Newcastle and Liverpool game, so we don't know the outcome yet, but we'll see how it goes. But back to this game, interesting fact between these two teams is that the last 4 times they've faced each other, 3 of them ended with a draw. And one more interesting fun fact is that the last time Newcastle beat Leeds by 2-goal difference was back in 2016. And you would think it was in the Premier League, but no lads, it was in the Championship division. So when it comes to my score prediction for this game is 1-2 for Newcastle, and my tip is Newcastle double chance combined with under 3.5 goals adds 1.90. Considering the Magpies are missing their main goal scorer, I don't think they'll score too many goals, so that's why I picked that tip. On to the next one. Brighton will be hosting Manchester City. Manchester City. Wow, what an awful game against Spurs. And this is the same City that opened game week 1 smashing Wolves 4-0, looking like they were already champions in August. Then they play Spurs and suddenly they look like they forgot how football works. Horrible game. And James Trafford, my guy, had a nightmare. First, his mistake basically gift wrapped Spurs their second goal. Then, as if it wasn't enough, like he runs out of his box and decides to audition for UFC, straight up kicked a Spurs player in the stomach. VAR looked at it and said, nah, that's just yoga. City fans must be wondering if Trafford was playing for them or Spurs that day. But all jokes aside, City has to wake up. Like otherwise with this kind of performance, like they can forget winning silverware at all. And when it comes to Brighton, they lost 2-0 their away match at Everton's new stadium, so that was kinda expected. But back to this game, the interesting fact between these two teams is that City weren't able to defeat Brighton for the last 2 times they have faced each other. Brighton visited City back in March, which ended 2-2 draw, and before that, Brighton defeated City 2-1. So now the question is, will Brighton be able to get another point from City, or City is gonna wake up? Let's see how it goes. My score prediction for this match is 1-2 for Manchester City, and my tip is City double chance combined with over 2.5 goals at 1.95. Or if you want something simpler, then just putting on City to win also looks good. On to the next one. Nottingham Forest will be hosting West Ham. West Ham. That Bakata goal against Chelsea was a world class. And isn't it why we all love football so much? And just precisely how I said in my Game Week 2 predictions that West Ham fans might want to cover their eyes against Chelsea. And that's exactly what happened. 5-1 loss for West Ham. And it's going to be a really tough season for West Ham if they're not going to change anything in the dressing room. Or maybe like a couple of new players. Even their mentality. Like something is wrong with them and it needs fixing. Forest from the other side got a point from Crystal Palace after being down 1-0 and Hudson-Odoi equalizing for Forest. Not a bad result, I'd say. And the interesting fact between these two teams is that the last 3 times they faced each other, Forest were able to defeat West Ham all 3 times. So my score prediction for this match is 3-0 for Nottingham Forest, and my tip is Forest to score over 1.5 goals, meaning 2 or more goals by Forest, adds 1.85. Considering Forest scored over 1.5 goals in the last 4 clashes against West Ham, so why not this time? On to the next one. Liverpool will be hosting Arsenal. Definitely game of the week. Arsenal absolutely demolished Leeds last time out, 5-0, just like we predicted. But Victor Gyökeres had me questioning him in the first half, thinking, did they really sign this guy to start? Then he comes out in the second half, smashes in a goal, and suddenly he's looking like the weakening Arsenal didn't know they needed. Of course, the big problem for the Gunners is Saka's injury. That's a massive blow for them, but the question is, does Arteta trust Eberechi Eze to step in from the start, or does he keep him as a super sub? But either way, Arsenal fans will be sweating until the lineup drops. And Liverpool are visiting Newcastle today, and yeah, this video is being recorded before that game, so we don't know the outcome yet. But here's the fun part. The last season, both games between these two teams ended in a 2-2 draw. Copy-paste results. So what do we expect this time? Honestly, it feels like the same script is ready to be printed again, right? At least I can definitely see that. Like goals at both ends, madness in midfield, and both sets of fans pulling their hair out by the 90th minute. My score prediction for this match is 2-2 draw, and my tip is both teams to score with the odds of 1.70 is looking really good to me. And the last game of the week, Aston Villa will be hosting Crystal Palace. Aston Villa were unlucky against Brentford and lost 1-0 over the weekend. They had 76% possession and 17 shots, but couldn't find the back of the net. Like that Rashford and Marco Asensio from last season, they're definitely missing in the team. And Crystal Palace from the other side has a tough fixtures, right? First drew against Chelsea, then Forest, and now they have to face Aston Villa. Like, not the best way to start the season with these fixtures. And you cannot expect as a Crystal Palace fan to get 9 points out of these first three games. But what's really looking good for Crystal Palace is that the last 5 times they have faced Aston Villa, they defeated them 4 times, and only 1 of them ended in a draw. And the last one coming in the FA Cup match where Palace destroyed Villa 3-0. The only thing to keep in mind that the Palace has a midweek Conference League playoff games against Fredrikstad, which may affect their freshness in this game against Villa. So my score prediction for this match is 1-1 draw, And my tip is Crystal Palace double chance, odds 1.90. Or if you want something different, then both teams to score, odds 1.80. Pick the one that you like. And that is all, guys. That was our Premier League Game Week 3 predictions. Leave your comments and predictions in the comment section. Stay active. Until next time.